What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be working on the 86 that's going to be my son's when we get it finished up. We picked this up from my good buddy Matt back early in the summer, and really the car has pretty much, we've not been able to do anything since we've got it. It's been busy, plus to be honest with you, the car, it's a basket case. I knew the car had some issues, didn't know it had quite this many issues when I bought it, but I'm diving into them, and I'm not the best mechanic in the world, but I'm going to figure it out. And also, whenever you dive into a car that has had so many different modifications and maybe they weren't done the way they should have been done, you almost have to start from scratch. But don't forget this one thing, guys. You always got to start with the basics, because anytime you're dealing with a starting issue on a car, you got to make sure you got three things right. And that means you got to have fuel, air, and spark, right? And of course, making sure all your firing orders and all that stuff is correct. But I didn't start there. So we'll get into that here in just a minute. Guys, my shop is a mess. We actually got Kaylin home from college. Normally I'd be able to have her car out there in the driveway, but between my truck, my wife's truck, the 417 Fox, my other daughter's car, Kaylin's car, plus we got 4 trucks out front right now and a trailer because the roof's getting put on. So if you hear any beating and banging, these guys are out here getting with it, getting a new roof put on my house. So I'd planned on working on the 57 today, but I had everything on stands out here where Kaylin's car is at, so I had to pull her car in and slide all that stuff under the car. So I thought it'd be a great opportunity. Peyton's actually coming in to town today, so I thought it'd be really cool if maybe I could get this car started and running. I don't have high hopes for that, but it'd still be really cool if I get this car running, because it is going to be his car if he got home today, because he's actually only seen the car run once. When we went and picked it up from Matt was able to get this thing started up one time to get it on the trailer with starting fluid. I haven't been able to get the car started since. We were able to unload the car, we had to push the car in here, we had to roll it off the trailer, and the car is pretty much just sat. I've tried to start it a couple of times, guys, and I'm going to walk over here and then we'll kind of get to what I've tried and then also kind of what I've got going on today. And guys, I'm going to tell you, you're going to want to see what's going on right now, because I wasn't even planning on filming this today. I was just going to get out here and tinker with the car. But as I started working on it, I was like, I need to film this because this can probably help somebody out. Alright guys, so this is really only the second time I've really messed with this car. The first time that I messed with this car, I brought it in here and we tried the starting fluid and all that. And I tried to start it so many times that ended up the starter solenoid stuck on this car, and the starter stuck engaged. Had to jump out here, yank the battery cable off real quick to keep from burning up the starter and wires. This hot wire started smoking just a little bit before I could get it off. So we got that done, and really the car has set since then. So I started thinking I'd go through a little bit more of a methodical approach. So guys, what I did, I got out of here and really just started looking over everything, because again, this car is a bit of a basket case. Whoever did all of this, and I don't know if you're ever going to see this video, but we'll just leave it at that. A lot of good parts on this car. This car has the Phytech, which from what I understand, I don't really know that much about them, but they're in kind of a self-learning EFI system, and they're really great, especially if you're going to convert your car from a carbureted to, if you want to go from carbureted to fuel injection, they're great for that too. Now this is being converted with the Phytech. This car also has Holley Systemax aluminum heads on it. Now the bottom end on this car, I don't really know anything about. It It could be stroked. It could, I don't know. I have no idea on the bottom end of this car. Then of course you see it has this old school power down supercharger. Then it also has this old school Summit ignition box. So I went ahead and found the online instructions for the Firetech and the Summit, and I'm thinking I'm probably just going to have to literally uninstall all this and reinstall it, because then I know it's been done right. So as I was kind of digging around and I was feeling back here, and I'm going to show you what I was doing, I'm just looking at wiring, right guys? I mean, look, there's so much stuff that I don't know. That's a sensor that's not plugged up, probably doesn't go anything. I don't even know what that goes to. We've got original salt and paper harness connections, and every time I'd get my hand back here, I could hear the Firetech. Every time I get my hand back here, I could hear the Firetech making some movement inside of it. And I was like, oh, something is closing and opening inside of this unit. And then I could smell fuel. Realized real quick we had a loose connection that had to do with the fuel charge on this car. And it was actually right here. It just had one of those clip-on splices on here, and I went ahead and soldered this connection, which is evidently the power wire that's running the fuel on this. So I got that on there. So now I'm like, oh, we just fixed a major issue. Can the car start? I tried to start it one time. It did not fire. It is getting fuel now, and now the starter is stuck. I think the starter's probably burned up. Actually, I have a brand new one. I'm going to go ahead and get that thing thrown on here, and then I'm going to take a look at these plugs, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so I got my scope here. I bought this thing off Amazon. It's pretty cool. It just hooks to the Wi-Fi on your phone. Turn it on here, and you got different brightness on the light. Of course, you can see the light it has here in the end of it, and then it connects to your phone. So I will record that on my phone, and I'll show you guys what we get. And just by the way, I think I only paid like 30 bucks for this thing, so it is well worth having in your toolbox for instances like this. Well, I just took out cylinder number 1. It was also finger tight. Didn't even need a ratchet to loosen it up. Literally, I could unscrew this thing with my finger. Pulled it out, and not sure how well you guys can see that. There's a lot of oil on that thing. See all of the oil sitting in the threads, and of course that's certainly fouled out. So I'm going to put you guys on pause. I'm going to go over here and film with the scope again, look inside this cylinder and see what the top of the piston looks like. I don't know guys, this makes me nervous. What do you think? That cylinder looked worse than 5 and 6. It definitely looked like there was some oil soak on the top of the piston. This car, to be honest with you, is a car I probably regret buying. But you know what? We're going to put our head down, we're going to figure it out, we're going to get this thing taken care of and get this thing fixed and get it running. What do you guys think? I got a feeling I'm not going to figure this out by this video, so your comments, and I know there is a wealth of knowledge out there on these cars. Where should I start? As of this video, I'm definitely going to get the plugs put in, and we're going to try to fire it off again, probably put the starter on, because I'm going to need the starter to try to start the car, and then we'll go from there. Let me know what you think. And guys, I forgot just how much of a pain in the butt that top bolt is on that starter. I got that starter swapped out. I've not tried to bump it or anything, guys, so let's go try it. Well, boys, I was for sure that I'd fried that starter. Looks like I also fried the solenoid. I don't have one of these sitting around. I got to run to the parts store. Well guys, I got a special guest here with me today. Peyton just got here, and it's a cool deal. So he was able to stop by and get starter solenoid for me. Peyton, I haven't really talked to him about what I've done to the car today and all the plugs and this and that. And I did put a new starter on the car, and as you guys seen when I went to go start the car, normally when you get a click, you know this is getting signal, and then if it clicks, it's usually your starter or you've got a bad battery. I don't have a bad battery. This is clicking, starter didn't engage. Well, I put a brand new starter on it. Guess what we got, guys? As you heard, click. So it has to be this. I went ahead and did jump the terminals with the screwdriver, the old screwdriver trick. Motor turned right over. So that means this, I think it's stuck in between actually. And so had Peyton on his way from Sedalia, stop at O'Reilly, pick us up a new one. We're gonna throw this bad boy on here real quick.
Okay, no doubt.
And then go in and eat some pizza. Then we're gonna come out here and we're gonna see if this thing fires up. What do you think, Peyton?
Hope it does.
All right, man. Let's get this thing up here. All right, Peyton, so we get it all hooked up.
Yeah.
Now it's going to tell the tale. Do you think it's going to start?
No, I don't actually.
I give it a 50-50. I give it 50-50. Fresh plugs, went through everything, double checked everything. New starter solenoid. I fixed wiring back here on to get fuel to the EFI. All we can do is start by process of elimination and go from there, right?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Let's see. Get these.
Tech?
When I start cranking it, starts to spray.
Alright.
You ready?
Yeah.
No. You still got some?
Right about that time.
Well, I'm trying not to be disappointed, Peyton, but I'd be lying if I didn't say I wasn't a little disappointed, as I know you are too. Well, guys, it's actually the next day. Peyton was only in for last night. They were actually on their way through, heading to Memphis to go watch a Grizzlies game, which is something me and Peyton used to do all the time when he was this big, back when we actually lived close to Memphis. Where I'm from is actually only an hour north of Memphis. We are Grizzlies fans, and he still makes that trek to this day to go watch the Grizzlies play some basketball, even though that's about 6 hours from where he lives now. So last night I'd actually already ended this video on kind of a sour note. Did all that work yesterday, and the car didn't start. I was really hoping Peyton would get to see this car start, but that didn't happen. So, you know, guys, if you're like me, you go to sleep and this stuff just, you're trying to go to sleep and this stuff just keeps you up at night. And I said, I'm going to come out here. I wasn't even going to film. I was going to kind of, look, I had the, I've got the instructions for the ignition box, also for the Phytech, and was really going to go start through wire by wire, making sure everything's correct, make sure everything's done right. Guys, I'm going to be honest, the wiring this car is a little scary on all the additions. Now the good thing is all the original engine harness, everything is still there. The A9L is still in the car, so if I did decide to maybe swap it back to regular fuel injection, and I have an Explorer GT40 upper and lower, I could put on it, put some injectors in it, get rid of the supercharger, all that stuff, and just go back to normal. That's one option. But guys, there's a reason why I'm out here filming again, because I've got good news. As I was kind of going through this rat's nest worth of wiring, kind of going through everything, looking at the summit, looking at the instructions, I had the ignition on in the car while I was out here kind of tracing wires down, looking through everything, checking to make sure everything was set properly on the ignition box. And come to find out, there's a couple of connectors here going to the distributor that were not all the way connected. And I bumped one of them, and I heard the Phytech engage when I did. Now, if you remember, I already had one loose wire in the back that is a power lead wire to the Phytech that was not connected all the way as well. So we had another wire issue. I was just getting to the point where I was going to start checking the ignition on the car and going to have Angel come out here and check with me, but I plugged that in. Angel was actually already well on the way out here because I texted her. I said, hey, I'm going to need your help. I'm going to check each ignition wire off the distributor to make sure we're getting good firing. So she was going to come out here. She came out here, and I said, look, I found something. Let's see if that's what it was. I jumped in the car. Well, I'll just show you what happened. We'll jump in the car real quick. Make sure I don't have nothing in the way. Guys, y'all don't know how happy that made me when this thing fired right off. So on the next video, I'm going to actually get to go drive this car and give you my impressions on driving this car for the first time. I need to do some more digging into the Phytech so I can make sure that I'm watching that AFR to make sure we're not getting any issues with anything being lean, or I mean, I'd rather be too rich than lean, but make sure we don't have any issues there. I'm also getting ready to go ahead and button up all this rat's nest of wiring, get it tidied up really nice, trace everything down, get everything loomed, get everything, I mean, guys, there's stuff that I don't even want to go there. I'm going to work a while on getting everything buttoned back up on this car, and then on the next video we're going to take this thing for a ride, and I'm going to let you know what I think, because I cannot wait to see. I got a feeling this thing's kind of pretty nasty, but I guess we'll see. So guys, until the next one, I'll see you then.